So I was able to attend the CW premiere of NXT last night at the Allstate Arena in Rosemont. Not Chicago, okay? Take it from a person who lived in Chicago. Don't let any of this stuff fool you, because Rosemont is in Chicagoland. It is not the city of Chicago. Anyone who's ever lived in Chicago or currently live there will agree, but that's neither here nor there. So last night at the show, I had an amazing time. We had a great moment. We had some amazing surprises, and one of my favorite moments of the night is the free pizza from CM Punk himself. Pizza. Now, I know that sounds crazy for a grown man to be excited about pizza. I mean, we're not in 5th grade anymore, but I agree with that. But at the same time, we didn't get any run-of-the-mill pizza, okay? We got Illuminati's, okay? One of my favorite pizza places in Chicago, alongside Gino's East, Giordano's, and ultimately Pequod's. All fire places. And if you want to get a little fancy, you can go over to Garrett's Popcorn, get you something nice. One of the best popcorn places in the world. Also, they were giving out these free energy drinks, which I did not drink, because if I do, my heart is going to explode. So all of this was sponsored by the voice of the voiceless, and I was voiceless last night because I was starving, bro. I was tired. I just got off of work, drove right out there, and I was tired. But thank you to CM Punk about that. So what I'm gonna do today is not the typical review where I just go each match beat by beat. I just want to tell you guys the things that I absolutely love, some things that I thought were just okay, and some things that I thought that the show could have left without. But before we do that, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and let's get into this. So one of the things that I absolutely love was one of the matches that you guys probably loved, and it was the match between Julia versus Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. And I love this. I love this match. Now, for one, I've been a fan of Julia for some time. If you guys have been following this channel, you know that I've been picking Julia to show up at the Royal Rumble year after year. I'm like, she should show up. She does some good work. She does some fantastic work in Stardom. The matches are always brutal. They're crazy. So I'm like, I can't wait till she comes to WWE. Now, honestly, I didn't think I would ever be able to see her in person, to wrestle in person, right? Because I didn't think she was coming to WWE. I thought she would probably go to AEW or go somewhere else, and I could still go to an AEW show. I have been there before in Chicago, but I just didn't think that would happen. So the fact that I was able to do that last night was really cool. The other person, Roxanne Perez, I didn't think I would be able to see her in person until she got to the main roster, but the fact that I got to see her go against Julia in a match, it was kind of like, you know, it was twice as great for me. I'm not complaining. I'm happy about that. And the thing is, this is a great pairing between these two women, because as I said, with Julia, a lot of her matches are always brutal, and Roxanne Perez, ever since she turned heel, she seemed to be able to take a lot of damage and take a lot of, you know, hits and things like that. So the pairing of these two would be great. So when they have that final match in the future, when they finally trade the title from Roxanne Perez over to Julia, that match is going to be a hard-hitting and brutal match, and that match is going to be so, I promise you, that's going to be one of the greatest NXT women matches or even WWE matches in the history of WWE. Watch, mark my word, it's going to be that way. But ultimately, I love this match. They had a lot of great spots. And one of the big surprises that everyone else saw and was surprised about is Cora Jade coming into this match to help Roxanne Perez. Now, I knew there were going to be some type of interference, but I thought it was going to be Stephanie Vacher to come in to cause some problems, given her promo or her interference between the back and forth between Roxanne and Julia last week on NXT. So the fact that it was Cora Jade, I was shocked by that, because I always feel like she's always injured. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm serious. Like, I didn't know she was okay. So I'm glad she's back. Hopefully she stays healthy enough to do what they have to do with her. And it looks like they're setting up a tag match between Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade versus Julia and Stephanie Vacher, which I think that match is going to be fire, and I cannot wait for that to happen. And I thought that Roxanne Perez was actually going to drop her title in this match and then get called up to the main roster, but the fact that she retained it, it's not a big deal to me. It's actually, if you think about it, the way that they went, it's a good idea, because this women's division is stacked, bro. This mug is stacked. It's getting stackeder and stackeder, if that's even a word, because if you think about the people in this division is the highlight of the new NXT right now, the Chrome NXT, and we'll talk about that in a few seconds. That we got Julia, Stephanie Vacher, Roxanne Perez, Delta's on the way, Cora Jade, the list goes on and on and on, and this division looks so great, and I'm excited about the bright future that they have for this division. It's going to be so good for the next 5 years, bro. I'm excited about this. But at the end of the day, these ladies did a fantastic job. Very great ending. I loved every bit of it, and great work by whoever was involved in setting this match up. Now let's talk about the NXT titles. Now that we're talking about a championship match, I thought those titles are actually pretty good. I think they look pretty clean. They took the colors away from them that they acquired during the NXT 2.0 era. And to a lot of people, they don't like that it's so chrome. But I'm like, given the fact that we got the new logo for NXT, and the new logo for NXT is a lot cleaner than the one that they had previous. I know the previous logo, the gold and black one, for me was cool, but I didn't like the little sharp ending on the T and on the end. I'm like, are those vampire teeth? What is that? Like, it just threw me off. My OCD was going crazy. But now that we have a slick, clean chrome logo that matched with the titles, you can feel the shift in the things that's happening here with NXT, and I'm excited about the future. And I think the titles look clean. Some people compared it to the ECW championship that Mark Henry had during his WWE days, and I can't say that, man. That ECW title was hideous, bro. That was disgusting, bro. They should never, ever bring that title back again. So another match that I was excited about, that I actually love, really quick, let me get this notification off the screen, is the match between Wesley and Zach Wentz, the street fight match. One of my favorite. It was the match of the night. Now, personally, I am a huge fan of no DQ street matches, no holds barred, hardcore matches, and this match, for a fact, delivered. I went to NXT with my girl and with my brother, and she doesn't really watch wrestling like that. She watches it when I watch it, but I guess since she had me watching a bunch of Korean dramas, then I guess it's a good trade-off for her to watch wrestling with me. And don't get me wrong, there's some Korean drama that's out there that is fire, bro. Train to Busan, Glory, like the list. If you want to talk about that another day, we could talk about that. But this was her favorite match of the night, and I'm always happy to see people who are not fans of wrestling be able to enjoy a match in wrestling, and she loved this for the obvious reasons. There's a lot of weapons, a lot of flips. I mean, when the match started, Wesley did a Mortal Kombat flip over the ropes to go after Zach Wentz, and Zach Wentz slid under it. The spot where Wesley had the garbage can over his head and was getting smashed, like, it was so many different spots. But ultimately, this match was really good, and having Wesley win this match was a smart decision. And it was like one of the few times where I see Wesley in a match, even as a heel, where I'm like, I really feel like he's a heel, right? There's some people where they've turned heel, but when they're wrestling in the ring, it's really kind of to accept that they are a heel. But after this, I accept it, bro. He tried to kill that man in the ring, and I thought this was a fantastic match. But moving on to the other thing that I really love was the moment at the end when we had Trick Williams finally win his title back off of the all ego Ethan Page. Now, for me, I'm not a big Ethan Page fan, so the fact that Ethan Page lost the title, I'm not gonna say I rooted for his downfall, but I thought that it was better suited on someone else. I watched him in TNA and things like that, so I already knew about him. So when people were excited that he came to NXT, I was happy for them, because I'm like, hey, if this promotes his career, if he gets fans, that's all for him. For me, I'm not too sold on him. I'm not saying he's terrible, because he's not. There's no reason why he would be there if he is, but I just haven't been sold on him as a gimmick, as a wrestler, as whatever. It just hasn't sold me on that. But seeing Trick win that title back was fantastic for so many reasons, because out of all the many shows I've been to, whether it's been Survivor Series last year or 2019 or NXT TakeOver from 2019, TakeOver Chicago 2, I have yet to see a title change on a show, and this was the first time that I ever got to experience that. So seeing the confetti and the explosion and stuff like that, I knew when was going to happen, but I thought that, again, I thought Roxanne Perez was going to lose the title and then Ethan Page was going to retain the title. So it was the other way around. I was surprised by that. I am really, really happy for Trick Williams. So let's talk about the parts that I thought were just okay, that I thought were cool. The match between Ethan Page and Trick Williams, I thought it was like upper okay to good. I thought it was a good match, but I thought it was just okay. I thought it was just okay. I know a lot of people loved it. I'm happy for Trick, but the match itself, I wasn't too excited about, even with the inclusion of CM Punk in it as the special guest referee. I don't know why in my head I thought that Drew McIntyre was going to get involved and attack CM Punk and then cost Trick Williams his match and then keep Ethan Page with the title, but that didn't happen, and that's great. I mean, the free pizza made up for it, so it is what it is. The other one that I thought was just okay was a tag team match with Lola Vice and Jada Parker versus Fatal Influence. I thought that match was just okay. I couldn't really get invested into it. Maybe I need to rewatch it on TV and probably get a different perspective on it. But it just wasn't that exciting to me, But I think it was put in a perfect spot, sandwiched in between the Wesley match and the title match to kind of give people a cool-off period to kind of relax a little bit. But the inclusion of Bianca Belair and Jada Jada. I was gonna call her Jada Storm, but her name is not even Jada. Jade Cargill. Okay, her and Jade Cargill. I thought that was fantastic, and it was crazy because when they showed up, and I know it's obvious to most people, but this is in no way to take a dig towards the ladies who were in the ring. But when Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair came out, you can tell there was a clear different level of stardom between the two. And it isn't that the ladies that were there weren't bad. It just shows how Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are so above so many women when it comes to looking like a star. If I never knew who they were, I would be like, who is that? They look great. They look amazing. And that was a cool moment when they came out and attacked Fatal Influence. But at the end of the day, the match overall was just okay. Again, I'm gonna go back and watch it on TV and see how I like it, and maybe I'll like it a little bit more than I did when I was watching it in person. I don't know. It was getting late. It was a work day, so maybe that has something to do with it as well. The thing that I did not like, I'm not gonna say I did not like the whole promo between Obafemi and Tony. I thought it was cool. I thought it was just okay. The part that I didn't like was when Tony D'Angelo tried to use Chicago to say I was here 20 miles away from here to try to gain some support. Nobody in there even was like, everybody was like, okay, like, you from Naperville? Like, I heard somebody say you're from Naperville. I don't know if he's from Naperville, but that's what people were saying. I was just like, that was, I get why he did it. It makes sense. If this is where he's from, he's from Chicago, then I kind of get it. But at the same time, it was just like, all right, we could have done without that. But ultimately, the show all together was a really good show. When Trick Williams came out and everybody screamed out, "Whoop that Trick," when people shouted out NXT, so much fun. It was an amazing time, and the tickets were dirt cheap. We got in there for $11 a piece and got a pretty good view of watching the show. But did you watch this show last night? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Salute, peace, have a good day.